Joining me now, University of Minnesota law professor Francis Shen. Francis, Florida's Attorney General says he has a duty to determine whether people were involved in the design and management of ChatGPT to the extent that they could be held liable for what happened. How do you start to determine that?
You've got to look at two things. I think it's great that he's doing this. And the reason you do it, which is important to say, is both to punish the makers, that's backward looking, but also to deter future similar uses. So it's really important to do. To actually accomplish this is difficult. And the two things he's got to do is look at the mental state of the individuals, the makers, the managers there, and the owners of ChatGPT, but then also the causation. What role did this engagement between the shooter and ChatGPT actually play in the eventual outcome? We could talk more about those, but those are the two big things. What mental state and what about causation?
Well, OpenAI says ChatGPT provided factual responses to questions with information that could be found broadly across public sources on the internet, that it did not encourage or promote illegal or harmful activity. So how do we read that?
It might not be a defense. To encourage or promote suggests they're saying we didn't intend for this bad outcome to happen. But that is not a requirement for the case to be successful. Sometimes it is for an intentional homicide. This is not the claim of the Florida Attorney General. It's not that OpenAI intended for the harms to come. Rather, it's culpable negligence, which means in a nutshell, you were aware of the risk and you went on and provided that information anyway. And it's not a defense to say that they were willfully blind. And we're going to give you this information. I don't know what you're going to use it for. All we were doing is providing information. That's the defense. But if the facts come out that the type of interaction is such that ChatGPT should have been aware and OpenAI developers were aware that this risk could happen and they didn't do something about it, that's potential grounds for criminal culpability.
Is this also potentially kind of a landmark case, one that could set the tone for the future for AI and services like ChatGPT?
This is absolutely a case of first impression. ChatGPT is marketing itself as a thought partner. So are the other large language models. And if you're going to play by the sword that is, we're a thought partner, we're like your human friend, then you may have to have the consequences, the other side of that sword. And this is one of the consequences. As the clip said, if this were a human providing this level of specific advice, if those claims are true, they would definitely be an accomplice, or what's called a principal in the first degree in Florida.